Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. I think it's already afternoon for some of you. Thank you for participating. Okay, so today we heard from Dr. Daisy. She spoke about, she actually ran through with us on the cyberbullying, which are alarming issue right now, especially among youth. And after that was Dr. Anna Agung, where he actually facilitated on the qualitative and quantitative. I feel it's very important for the students. Many of you are students in today's conference. And after that, Dr. Ranjit, most of us miss sports during this pandemic. It was a very eye opener, especially for me, how sports actually, we can look at sports in another angle as a PNL, profit and loss. Okay, and my topic will be about leadership. I choose leadership. I thought it also will be aligned with AI BPM vision, where we want to actually enhance the quality of professionals in workplace. So I thought I can run through this so that the students in this conference actually can benefit. So it's leading from within. What is about leadership? Okay, so Ibu Lohana actually covered about my background. So I'm actually a senior HRBP site lead for HP. HP is my fourth, company. Okay, and I'm almost 20 years in HR profession. So you guys roughly can know my age. Okay, so let me just continue. Other than work, I truly believe in empowering, especially women and children. And I always believe a smile can change everything. Okay, with that, let me start. Okay, so what is leadership team? So there are a lot of theories, a lot of write up on leadership. Okay, leadership is not an expertise. It's about constant education, which we always learn throughout our experience. So for many students in this conference today, I believe you have learned a lot of theories about leadership in your OB, in your management classes. So leadership theories started as far as from 18th centuries. You can see all the list of theories. I'm not going to run through everything. From 18th century, great man theory, until you can see all the famous theories here, transactional leadership, transformational leadership. So there's been a lot of theories, few hundred theories. But what is one thing about this leadership theory? To take you, to run through with you, actually leadership theory evolved over the years. So if you can see, let me just take the first one. In 18th century, the leadership theory actually focused on the leader, about their behavior. But over the years, it actually evolved from the leader, how it can actually motivate the follower to pursue the goal of the leader, and slowly to the context, the combination of leader and follower. And now it's actually focusing on culture or norm. Why the changes? Okay, to make this more interesting and more understandable in a daily context, I want to actually run through with you how the employees' behavior and employers' behavior has changed over the years. So you can see the screen very colorful. I put it some of the world events so that you can relate while I'm sharing this. So what you can see in the on the screen, you can see Madonna. Maybe some of you know Madonna. The youngsters, I'm not so sure whether you know Star Wars. The first prime minister. So many things. So in 1970s to 1980s. Let me just put it in a pointer. Okay, 1970s to 80s. So just recall, many of you may be not born at that point of time, but just recall hearing from your parents, your aunt and uncle, how the employees at that point of time in 70s. Okay, so in 1970s, what the employee want? Actually, when they join a company, they work lifelong in that company. So they just want a job for a life. They had very much lower expectation on the employer. They don't demand anything. And what they want is, if I work, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., those days, long hours, just pay my salary. This is the only demand of the employees, the behavior. How about the employers at that point of time, the managers? Okay, so the managers at that point of time, they are kind of dictating. So they actually lead through command or control, means they control everything. Sorry, they had very formal relationship with the employees. So this is 70s to 80s. And this arena we actually call as a this arena we actually call as a individualism, very much individual. Okay, and let's move on. Okay, 80s to 90s. So what you can see in the screen, so some of the event, the famous movie Back to the Future, we have Titanic, You Jump, I Jump. I think many of you can relate. Cubic was famous, it's famous again now. So this is some of the event, the what do you call it, the event happened. Okay, how about the employees at that point of time? So after the 10 years, the employees who actually joined the workforce, they had more choices in job market, more companies. So employee had more choices, they can move the job frequently. Okay, we can say they are less loyal because they want a recognition in terms of monetary. If another company can give a better offer, they actually willing to look for or build the career and develop themselves. So employees actually switch job. And how about the managers? So because you have a pool of employees, if you don't treat them, you don't handle them with care, they can actually look for other employment. So the managers or the employee at that point of time, they have to manage the employee as an individual. What is their interest? What is your career interest? So they have to manage one by one. And the employee at that point of time, they have to manage against company objectives, their behavior. So from dictating style, sitting in the office, they have to walk around in the office, greet people, and quality frameworks were introduced. So company all going for all these certification, okay? NIOS, OSHA, all the quality certification. Okay, and this era, 80s to 90s, we call as reinvention. Okay, so let me move on, 90s to 2000. So just now Dr. Ranjit present about sports. So this is Euro Cup. I think 9/11, none of us can forget. And this is the time, we have a lot of introduction, new introduction, in IT world. So 90s to 2000. So how's the employee? So you have seen 70s to 80s, 80s to 90s is now 90s to 2000. So just to give you an overview, at that point of time, the employees, even they had more choices in market, okay? So anytime, they can look for other jobs. And this is a time where the employees are protected legally. Most of the countries' union were introduced, okay? And they were actually happier to challenge the managers because they know the law. They are protected by unions, legal group. So if anything, they are not happy, they can actually challenge the manager. And the employees actually want to feel involved. They want to participate. They want to be part of the discussion. And they are looking for the value in the company. They just don't want to work for any ABC company, but it's more on an established organization with values. So how about the managers? So managers already start treating the employees as their biggest asset. So they start investing in trainings, developing the people. They start to act as a coach and empowering the employees. And all these, recognition actually started in a workplace. So you can see the difference, how it evolved. And this era we actually call as a engagement. So working is about engagement. And 2000 to 2020, this era, we're talking about iPad. So you can see iPhone, everything about IT. So this era, so what happened? Employees are more entrepreneurial spirit. Means like they want to contribute to the success of the company. And this employee, they want to know if being asked to do something, why I need to do, why they need to understand. And definitely introduction of Gen Y and Generation Z into workforce. The youngsters, after education, they actually joining the workforce. So employee, they want more, they started to demand, work-life balance. Even during interview, employees ask me, I don't want to work Saturday, Sunday because I have something, I'm studying. So they start to ask all these, so they know they are right. And they want, they are being communicated. And of course, they know body legal. So the managers, maybe some of you, soon will join the, workforce. So how are the managers? So managers in this era, they start to emotionally engage with the employees, and they drive high performance, focus on managing and developing the employees. So it's not about company goals alone. It's not about personal goal. It also about how to develop the employee, the next career development for them. And for the managers is anything I do, I actually establish and deliver through my people. My people's success is my success. Okay, and this customer service excellence is actually introduced. So we always talk about delivering the best customer experience. Okay, and this era actually we call as excellence. Okay, so we have seen from 1970s to now 2020, from individualism to excellence. So for the team, especially the students out there, what kind of leaders you will be? Here you have seen the evaluation. You are actually a 21st century leaders. Okay, so the second half of now I want to actually run through some of, I would say some of the tips or guidance how to be a 21st century leader. Okay, so before I go to that, this is a quote I really like very much, which I always share in all my programs. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are actually already a leader. So it's always come from within. Okay, so let's watch a short video. So is the ball, is it moving in a straight line? So let's watch. Okay, so what we watched in the video just now, okay, at a glance, it showed like the balls are actually circulating in a circle. But in effect, it's actually just circulating in a line. It's just moving in a line, but when it's all together, it becomes a circle. So the first thumb rule in leadership is don't be judgmental. Okay, so let me move on. But leadership, in leadership behavior, we have some judgments. So some of the things I would like to share is good leadership actually involves about getting things done with and through others. So it's always about teamwork, work together. So what it means you give a clear direction in some occasion, and in some other occasion you empower them. You let them to lead. Okay, and as a leader, you need.
Excuse me, Ms. Kalpana. You have 2 minutes more. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So as a leader, you need to know when you need to take the lead and when need to release the control. So this is what I explained: combination of all the leadership traits. So there are some, in some instance, you need to be task oriented. In some instance, you need to be involvement. Some you hold the control, especially if it's involved tight deadlines. And in some cases, you need to give the empowerment. So leadership is always about the combination. Okay, so which leadership? I'm not going to cover this. So as a student, you just decide what kind of leader you want to be. Are you going to take control? You let the team, do themselves or whatever. Okay, so just a small guidance for the 21st century leaders. So the first strategy will be change your style from content to context. Means rather than focus on day-to-day operation, let's see how we can create a context for the success of others. Okay. Strategy 2 will be from talking to walking. So if you want to enforce something, please do it. If you want a good attendance, okay, if your employment start, your work start at 8:30, maybe by 8:15, you can be in the office. After your coffee, you can settle down. So that is actually walking the talk. And from competing to collaborating, how you can involve your your team members, no office politics, no conflict, but actually based on relationship of trust and desire. Okay, so here you're being a role model. And move on, how you can be a guide from guru. Okay, rather than providing answers, you coach them. And from critic to a cheerleader, you celebrate the success together. Okay, so with this, the conclusion is, as a good leader, you need to be ahead in certain times where you need to provide a clear purpose, direction, and strategy. You use your heart, feel for them, and you must have the guts to do the right thing. So these are the leadership concepts. So as students, in this conference, adapt the leadership style which you feel will suit you and your personality. And don't just focus on your education. So the conference you're attending is like, it shows, you're enhancing your skills. So look at, all other things like your education, your experience, even you have a summer holiday, try to do some job to gain some customer service experience, your network, your CV, everything actually play a role. And lastly, don't only look at outer, also your inner strength, your soft skills, your values, your responsibility. It's about you, your motivation. Do what you like, your passion. Then I think you can shine as a leader. So team leadership is not a position or title, it's actually about action and example. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you, Ibu Lohana.